Arc Raiders has become so popular that we've now seen how far people are really willing to go to just compete. We have players that are accessing config files. There was a point where you could even open the game with dev tools and completely change the lighting, turn all of the shadows off in the game, zooming out your FOV so you could see around walls and corners pretty much, and finding ways as well to turn the settings down so low it's like you're running on a laptop from 2012, frame rates going insane, which for a while even further amplified the benefit that controllers got, because controller aim assist was based on frame rate, so that gave PC players a huge advantage. Anyways, it reminds me to a degree of the early Fortnite days when players used to use the stretch resolution until that was banned a year or two after. But I think the issue for most people, unlike Fortnite, Arc Raiders is very much meant to be a more casual gaming experience. I don't know if you even can make this game into like the esport direction that so many of these games all inevitably end up going down. And I think the tension of PvP is kind of great, but they also don't really want the entire game to be consumed by it. Either way, how the game is set up now, I don't see many people talking about the economic issue with it within the game for how loot is found, and we'll talk more about that. But first, Embark's kind of reaction to this, how they've handled it. The games came out back in October last year, so we've had about 3 months, which is crazy to even say, since the launch. And it took a little while for Embark to start talking about some of these things, but they have responded here and there to address some of the divide. At the start of January, Patrick Soderlund, the CEO of Embark, straight up said that this game isn't about shooting other players, and that Embark didn't want to really foster that type of gameplay. But at the same time, Embark makes it clear that it's an important part of the gameplay experience. In the same interview that we just talked about, Patrick even suggested adding private servers so that players who wanted to play the PvP element of the game can host servers where that could be even more acceptable of a focus. And just recently, they released the Headwinds update, which Embark released the solos versus quads mode for players that are over level 40, which seems to cater a bit more to the PvP side for players that want to take on an even bigger challenge. When myself and a lot of my friends even first saw this, I thought it was going to be two different things, really. I thought the level 40 plus queue was what it was going to be, where only people over level 40 could go into a raid. To me, that makes way more sense. You could then have a minimum gear set value required for that queue, giving people a reason as well to actually bring in their higher tier gear. Side note, bigger problem I could probably do a whole video on, but right now there's not really a reason to bring that big stuff in. If you go in with a 120k loadout on Stella at night often, it's just a ton of people with free kits endlessly sending it at you if you are first spawn and you're burning up your resources for no reward, or to eventually get killed by another team, or you come in late, or there's no loot, or you're trying to find bodies, or maybe that one team who has everything.